First of all, I'd like to say miigwech. Thank you to all the band members here tonight and for all the band members that have asked me to step forward to be selected for Chief of Wolf Lake First Nation. But before I get into that, I'd like to share a little bit of a story I have. When I grew up here, we grew up in town, downtown, and where we lived right across from that big mountain up on the hill there when you're in town. Right directly across from it, right across from the hospital. Even before the hospital was built, that's where we lived. And, you know, my parents at that time, they had very little means. But it was also a different time. You know, not a lot of people drove, not a lot of people had vehicles. So for us to come and visit up here in Kipwa, in Coalpit Bay, was a really big deal. And it was an even bigger deal if we made it to Hunters Point or Red Pine. But you know, my parents with their limited means, my dad still always found a way to get us outside and to have these great outdoor adventures. So we'd go out around town. What would we do? We'd go, you know, over to Lumsden, check out the dam, go over to Little Canada, check out, there used to be a beaver house there, or else we'd go up the power line. We're always looking for signs of animals. So that was always really important for me. But anyways, this one day what I decided was that I wanted to go and climb that mountain. And us living right directly across from it, the way I thought we had to get there was to go down our hill, cross Gordon Creek, and right up the mountain. So me and my dad, we set off. And all of a sudden I noticed that we're walking towards Lumsden. And I asked my dad, like, why are we going over here? The mountains are there, you know. And then he told me. He says, look, Lisa, there's more than one way to get there. And you have to look, and you have to see. And I said, okay. So away we went that way, and we meandered our way up the mountain, and every so often we would stop and look back at the progress we made. And then once we got up there, you know, made it to the top, boy oh boy, I felt so proud of myself. Very proud of our accomplishment and what we achieved. And also we were in awe looking down at town, at our home, at our community. So tonight, that's the feeling that I'm bringing forward here. A feeling of hope, a feeling of pride, and a feeling of this being supported by my family, my father, and yours. And I'm proud to stand here tonight and offer myself as a candidate for chief, as someone who is willing and ready and with a heart for the land and the people. And as I stand here tonight, I also want to acknowledge my family. When I was asked to run, it was an honor. But boy, I still had a lot to think about. I had to go home and talk to my family. You see, I stand with my family, my husband, my children, my mom, my sisters, my aunt. And with them, that's why I'm here. And to them, I'd like to say thank you. So I know that in my life I could do anything I want to, but I set my mind to. And I've done that in my experience, in my education, in my work. I've done that. But now I also realize that you can be much stronger though and achieve more with support. So when I was asked not only by one or two people to run, I had to go home and think about it. I first had to talk it over with my family. And then I had to think about the people that were asking me and why they were asking me. See, being asked once or twice is something, but being asked by several different families, well, that really takes some consideration. And well, here I am tonight because I accepted that challenge, that honor, and that opportunity. But I did so with the support of my family and from all of you as well. And for all the supporters that I've been receiving messages from and who I've spoken with since nomination. My dad is the late Hector Robinson. He was born and raised in Hunters Point. My grandmother was Emma Levine. She came from Grassy Lake. And my grandfather, Patrick Robinson, known as a great hunter or great bushman, was born in Wolf Lake. My dad, Hector, he taught me lots, his eldest daughter, about listening and about fairness and about taking what you need and always giving back. My mom, Judy, she was born in Temiskaming, and every time I look at her, what I see is her helping others, and always helping with a smile. And she learned this from her parents. My grandmother was Mary Cherrier, and she was from up north near Angeliers, a place they call The Power. My grandfather, the late Lawrence Mackenzie, was from Brennan Lake. My grandparents were entrepreneurial people, and they earned a living helping others while taking care of their family. And an example of this is how they helped my Uncle Joe build and operate Camp Mackenzie at Red Pine. So the hard work of my grandparents and my parents set an example for me to follow, to work hard and never give up. I believe in fairness, and that means that all sides are heard and that we will figure things out together. I also practice the value of honesty, because I will tell you the truth, good or not good. All ideas are welcome, and together we will figure it out. And respect is the most important. I will always have my door and my ear open. All ideas are welcome, and I will make the time and I will listen. These values of fairness, honesty, and respect are important. And it's these values that are the basis of my work with First Nations. I work for the Anishinaabeg Nation, and we work together to serve 40 member First Nations in Ontario. So I have a pretty good idea of what good leadership can get done and the success that they can have for their communities. And that gives me great hope for our community. I have a firm understanding of First Nations governance, and I'm able to communicate openly and effectively and meaningfully with members. Much of the work I've done involves establishing relationships with First Nations, with government, with industry and business, building relationships to get results. As a former college professor, I often encourage my students and help them in their academic journey. And it was a reward to be a part of that journey and to see them succeed. And that is the journey that I want to be a part of for our community. Giving back to the land, to your family, to our community. That is how we will move forward, and we will move forward together. So we do have many issues before us, and our land is definitely at the top of that list. I believe my grandparents, Pat and Emma, were one of the last families to leave Hunters Point. And they had a place for themselves and for our family. You and I and our kids and our families need this. It is our right, it is our legacy, and together we can achieve it. A recognized land base ensures that we can hunt, fish, and trap and occupy our territories for time immemorial. We have conducted many studies, we have done the research, we have done all the homework, and now we need to act. We need to act in a dedicated effort, one that involves everyone, to drive this to a conclusion, to drive this to confirmation. So I offer to set out a clear plan of action to achieve an agreement that will be brought before you all for your consideration and your input. It will be a lot of work, but it's for our future, our kids, and for upholding who we are as Algonquin people. I believe in access to education, post-secondary education, and to making sure our members and their children have access to quality education. I know the system, and I know some of the challenges that our students face, and there's ways to work around that, and many great ideas out there to help them. But getting an education is one thing. We also need economic development opportunities for our students to come home. We need them to come home. We need them to help. And that is what giving back is all about. Giving back to the land, your family, our community. That is how we move forward. And I have hope, great hope. Hope in our community, hope in all of you, and hope in all of us. Standing alone, we can get things done. but it's sure easier when you have help. And I want to help, and I have the pride and confidence to do just that. I have the confidence in all of you as well, and I believe that together we can do this. I've been given many teachings by my parents and my grandparents, but mostly my teachings come from my experiences. I'm here tonight because I believe that a better tomorrow is possible, and I have people around me who share the same belief. And I have a vision, and I want to share that vision with you. It's a vision of growing our community. So my background is environmental biology. And so in my vision, I kind of have an analogy that I'd like to share. So this idea of growing our community, and I guess from all my research days out traipsing around in the field, measuring trees, really plays to this. So I think when you think of my vision of growing a community, you have a tree, you know?
Oh, tell us that big word.
But you get the idea here, and my goodness, my students never really, anyways, there's a tree. And so this is my analogy here, and basically what this is a tree, and as our community and growing our community, what I see at the core of that tree or the trunk here is our community, our members, the members that we serve. But in order for us to be able to serve these members, we need a good foundation, and that foundation is our roots. And what exactly is a good foundation? Well, for starters, you need land. You need a base. You need a home. You need a land to provide for us, to learn from. A land that we must connect to and protect. You need that to support our tree. We also need a strong organizational foundation. And that strong organizational foundation must support our members. You know, there has to be policies and procedures to allow for fairness, for transparency, and for communication, because information sharing is key. Also creating a positive work environment, a team atmosphere, you know, and that will support our members as well. And another aspect of this foundation as well is our governance. You know, take a look at our leadership. What's their role? What are we going to do? As well as the advisory council. And it's really important that the people have trust and confidence in their leadership. And leadership also needs to be accountable to members. And that's key. And again, key to that accountability is, again, having regular band meetings where business is conducted in an open and fair manner. But also for information sharing, having community meetings as well. So all of this foundation, though, is it's really important that this foundation, though, is rooted in our culture and in our history. Because it's a rich history. And it's our culture. We need to have, you know, our teachings in there about respect, about honesty. We need to have learning from our elders, and also have our youth involved. Our people lived and worked together, and we can do the same as well. So, like a tree, if you have a very strong support system, and you're working to serve your members, you know that tree will grow and it'll branch out. And that's where a lot of opportunity is, and that's what I see. So, to grow our community and to branch out, there's different aspects. And health and wellness is one of them. And it's good to see a lot of the work that we have around our health and wellness and what's going on. Because it's important that we take care of our people. We need to look at, you know, other supports that are needed for our elders. Linkages for our members that don't live in the immediate vicinity. Another aspect to this is education. Education. We need to support our students. We need to figure out a way to help them. You know, maybe there's ways we can look at source revenue and helping them that way. Or maybe we need to look at establishing a trust fund of sorts for our students. Again, we have to create learning experiences for them and positive opportunities. look at partnering with colleges and universities and celebrating our students. That's another thing. You know, we have all this knowledge out there and all these graduates, and we really do need to celebrate them. And this aspect of my vision for community here, this education, what it is knowledge. And a lot of this knowledge is rooted in our tradition, and it's important that we integrate that as well. Look at integrating that traditional ecological knowledge and science. That's kind of my background in the world where I am, and there's so many things that are connected there between the two. And there's a lot of neat land-based learning experiences that I think would really benefit our youth. So that is something that is really important, and everything is connected. So another important aspect of our community growing here and branching out is our youth. So our youth, we have to reach out to them. We have to find out what they're thinking, what they want. We have to connect them with other youth, see what opportunities are out there. We have to find positive role models. But even before that, we ourselves have to be positive role models. Everybody. All of us as a community. Our leadership, our band, our employees, everybody. And what's really critical is that we do have to take direction from our youth. Our youth have many different challenges today than what we had when we were youth. And so we have to take direction from them because they face these different challenges, and we need to understand. And we need to support them and take that direction, and that is how we will empower our youth. And another aspect of growing our communities is economic development. We've had some ventures in that. You know, we have some band-owned businesses. They're doing well. But we also need to look at other things. You know, what do we have as our people? What resources do we have? What human resources do we have? Skills asset inventory. What are our needs? What training do people want? What things would be beneficial to them? And those are some things. And also connecting our people to different First Nations entrepreneurs and businesses as well. And that's how we'll invest in our people. And all of this here, so my vision of building a community, serving our members again, you know, rooted in our culture, having a nice, strong organizational foundation, a connection to the land, our governance, having our health and wellness, our education, our economic development. It's all connected. Everything is connected. And giving back. That's what all of this is about. Like a tree in the fall, you know, the leaves fall to the ground and they decompose. And they provide nourishment to the roots so that this tree can grow. Well, in that aspect, everything is connected. Our members, our elders, our youth, our employees, our leadership, we are all connected in this vision of growing our community. And this is the vision I have. A vision for our future and for our kids. So, when I look at Wolf Lake First Nation, I see a community of people doing many things. A community of people enjoying our lakes, our rivers, and areas special to us. Areas like Red Pine and Hunters Point, Brennan Lake. And I want to make sure that our kids, both yours and mine, are able to do these same things, to enjoy these experiences that many of us have had. And I will work with you to ensure that our kids can do that. So let's walk that road together. Let's talk. Let's see what we can do. As a band, we have been walking down a road, and I'm here tonight to say now that it's time to drive. We need to drive together. Drive down that road. The time to start driving is now. Drive to renew pride in our band, in our community, and in what we can achieve. A drive towards hope. Hope for our kids, hope for our land, and hope for our future. Hope. My name is Lisa Robinson, and I'm seeking your vote. Chimwich.